I have my completed grid in grayscale done, and now I'm going to duplicate the artboard and add color. So the first thing I want to do is in my layer palette I have background and design, where I have my guy with the trees and the grass and the sky, some water here. I'm going to add color, so I'm going to duplicate this artboard. The first thing I need to do is make sure nothing's locked, and maybe I've locked an individual object by going to Object, Lock Selection, which is Command 2. Then you can't select that. Or maybe I've gone into my Layers palette and locked things like you see here. So I need to make sure everything is unlocked. I unclick the locks because I'm going to copy my grid, my background, everything. And then additionally, I need to make sure if I've locked anything, I need to unlock all, Object, Unlock All, which is Option Command 2. So that's unlocked as well. So now I'm going to shrink down my artboard so I can see enough space to add the artboard to the right. I'm going to get the artboard tool, which is right here. Shift O is the key command. And then you see the artboard is selected. Now I will hold Option on a Mac, hold on a PC, and you see my cursor becomes a double arrowed cursor, which means it's going to duplicate. I'll drag to the right, and you see it's going to not stay consistent up and down. Smart Guides will help me with that. See the pink line there that tells me I'm aligned. Or an easy way, once I start dragging, is just to hold Shift, and you see it's going to constrain well that way. And I'll get about an inch, maybe just a titch more over by holding Option and Shift, and then let go of the mouse, then let go of the keys, and now I have two artboards. And so that's duplicate artboard. It's really important to make sure before you copy your artboard that you have the craftsmanship metric that we need for this assignment of near perfection. So if you see anything where, say, things are not aligned well, I'm still in the artboard tool, get a shape tool. If you see that things are off a little bit, like that, which is off a lot, it would be duplicated here. And so you'd have to fix that in both your color and your black and white. So this artboard on the right will be our grayscale, and I'm not going to change that anymore because it's done. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to go to Object, Lock, Selection. So that can't be selected anymore. I'm going to do all my work now on this artboard. This one is done. So I'll hit Command Y, and I'll select my background, and I'll put a sky in. And I'll go to my swatches. I've got some swatches loaded. I have color. I can click anywhere here, and it's going to add that color. So if I want a sky, maybe I want a gradient. I'll do gradients next. So I'll just pick a sky color here, and then I'll select this. If I want to, I have the select tool, letter V for the select tool. If I want to select more shapes, I can hold Shift as well and click on all of those shapes, and it'll select them all. An easier way to do that is to select one shape and then go to Select Same Fill Color. It's going to select more than I want. It's going to give him, it's going to select all these shapes as well. I don't really care about these shapes anymore, so I don't care if they get changed in color. And I'll give this guy let's give him some brownish red hair, orange hair. Okay, I like that. And problem is, his eye got changed color too, so I don't want him to have an orange eye, so I'll pick my swatches and give him a blue eye, and then I'll move on. I'll select this tree and go to Select, Object, or I'm sorry, Same Fill Color, and you see it's going to also select the water down here. I'll make that be a dark green tree. This grass area, it was all just one shape that was 10 squares wide by 4 squares tall, and it's just one simple rectangle. I didn't have to have 40 separate squares for that shape. So I'm going to make that maybe a little lighter grass color, and then I want to select this water here, and I'll just use the select tool while holding Shift to select multiple shapes, and I'll put some water in there, maybe a little bit darker color water. That's pretty. And now I'll select my guy's skin, select, so one square is selected, select Same Fill Color, and I'll give him a Oh, don't see any good skin colors here. There's going to be a little bit orange here, and that's too orange, so I want to change that. I can do that a couple ways. I can go to my color picker and just click in here, or in the color sliders here, this is CMYK, cyan blue, M magenta, which is pink, Y is yellow, K is black. And I could slide those around. Maybe that's too orange. I'll take a little bit of magenta off. Now he's too yellow. Maybe I'll take a lot of yellow out. And so pick a color. Maybe I want to give him a little bit of a suntan. He's outside. And so there's a good skin color just by moving those sliders around. Or I could click anywhere in here if there was a color I liked. So I liked where I was. I'll undo it. And that's the skin color I want. And now I'll select his cheek here, and I think I'll make it a little pinker than it was before, so I'll go to select, same, fill color, and then I'm going to hit the eyedropper, which is right over here. Letter I is the eyedropper. You see it will select that, and I'll start with the color I already have, and then I'll just add a little bit of magenta here to it to give him a little bit of a pink cheek. That's nice. And then lastly, I'll select his ear. I'm just going to hold shift. And note, I still have the eyedropper selected, but I'm holding Command Control on a PC, which will always bring up the selection tool, whichever selection tool we used last. And so I'm holding Command to get the selection tool, and then Shift to select multiple shapes. When I let go of that, I'm back in the eyedropper. So that's a really useful shortcut that I use all the time. So I want this ear to advance, and lighter colors or values advance, darker recedes. So I start with the color here. You see in my color selectors, the CMYK color selector. And here's a neat trick. If you hold shift and slide any one of these sliders, you'll see it moves in tandem, all of them, except for C or cyan. You see it's not moving because it's at 0. And so if I pull to the right, you'll see that ear gets darker. If I pull to the left, you'll see it'll get lighter. And so I like that. And there I have taken my grayscale that was complete, and it had good craftsmanship. All of the shapes were in perfect alignment. I've duplicated it using the Artboard tool and holding the Option and Shift key, and then I have locked that shape, all the shapes here. And why did I lock all the shapes? Well, if I would have said select same fill color, it would have wanted to color all of the grayscale as well. So I locked that. If I want to unlock it, I could now go to unlock all, and you'll see those are now deselected, or they're all unlocked, so I could change those if I want. And then here I have a color on my left grid, and I have a grayscale on my right grid. So that's our next step on the grid project.